You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hello everyone, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming at you another Let's Play episode of Echo, Jenna's Path. So, according to people in the comments, I have already crossed the threshold between getting the good and the bad ending, so I guess I'm on the path towards the good ending. And Chase and Jenna, they had relations at Carl's place. And they are now officially together, despite the fact that they don't want their friends to know, because Leah will make things awkward and probably horrible. So guys, let's jump right back into it. Let me entertain you for the next 20 minutes. Alarm chain, you have been engaged, and let's go. Not that I minded, of course. Carl had all the video game consoles that were out, and his parents bought him M-rated games. I got to stay up late with his giant TV, blowing up aliens and running over hookers. I remember he started to become less afraid as time went on, and his parents stopped asking for me to come over as much. So, of course, shitbag younger me told Carl a bunch of stories about a ghost bride whom I said I saw standing outside his house at midnight. And that's how I got to spend my whole 5th grade summer vacation living at Carl's place. The fact that Carl was still freaked out about this sort of thing is pretty concerning. Well, to be quite fair, if I held that mindset that my house was haunted and saw whatever that was on the phone out my window... She pauses, shaking her head. I'd probably be rather freaked out as well. Yeah, but would you run outside? That doesn't make any sense. You'd think this place would be more ransacked if this was like a fucking kidnapping or something. You don't try to kidnap a fucking ram without getting some serious dents and scratches in the drywall. The idea of Carl being assaulted like that is starting to give me a serious bit in the bottom of my stomach. Well, you did find some scattered plaster dust and marks on the wall near the basement crawl space. Yeah, maybe there could have been like an initial scuffle down there and then he was held at like gunpoint or something. There's a look of sudden shock at the direness of my words that flashed across Flynn's face. Anxiety, fear, concern, all expressions seldom seen on the lizard. He quickly stifles them, adopting his usual disgruntled demeanor, emanating forth a familiar grunt in response. Guys, I think we're escalating here. No offense to you, Chase, but I think I might want to have a chat with Jeremy myself. You can come along, of course. Same to you, Flynn. Despite Jenna's assurance of non-offense, I can't help but feel a little bit shitty about not pressing harder for information while I was there. I mean, fuck, I want to be a journalist, right? I can't be getting intimidated by childhood bullies. Flynn nods, but only slightly. Yeah, but Chase said he told the drugs he sold... But Chase said he told him the drugs he sold weren't laced. These drugs wouldn't result in that image on the phone. Shit, I haven't talked to that flunk ass in so fucking long. You're always a bit too old to get at the brunt of his sadistic side when we were growing up. Thought that was mainly Clint. They all rubbed off on each other easily enough. Flynn pulls out his phone, a rather dated first-gen looking thing from the late 2000s. He pecks at it with his large fingers, walking off toward the foyer. Gotta text TJ and Pinball Smasher that we're together and asking around. No need to be more specific than that. Trust me, wasn't about to tell him when we're heading until we're done. Poor TJ. I'll make sure to text him to make sure he's alright. We start to head out as well when he suddenly calls out back to us. Oh, and bring your goddamn lunch. It took me for fucking ever to put that together. Are you nervous? I ask, trying to break the silence. Flynn takes his eyes off the road long enough to peer back at me through the rearview mirror, then glances over at Jenna. She's riding shotgun, cradling her fishy Tupperware in her lap so it doesn't spill. I already told you I wouldn't mind seeing Jeremy again. Oh, I'm sorry, Jenna. He was talking to Jenna. Okay. I already told you I wouldn't mind seeing Jeremy again. Well, what about you, Flynn? Why are you asking me? They weren't my bullies. I'm not sure if that's exactly true. I have distinct memories of the Tetanus Alley crew calling him all sorts of slurs back in the day. Hell, they started a rumor that he was some kind of sadomasochistic gay rapist. Said rumor somehow wormed its way out of Echo to our high school. I remember there was this whole thing where he got called into the counselor's office about it. He had proceeded to call the counselor a wretched gashed... Ha! He got a 1-week suspension. Oh my god. It wasn't ever clear if any of that shit stuck. He certainly never cried about it like TJ did. Didn't mean to skip that. What did he say? Backlog. Sounds more like you're the one with the issues. I frown. I'm gonna spill bluegill over your seats. You'll be scrubbing the upholstery with my foot up your ass if you even open the goddamn lid in my truck. Chase already spoke with them. You said you only saw Jeremy, Heather, and Mika, correct? Jenna looks back at me and I nod. Mika. Heard he was back in town a while ago. Never expected he'd turn up again after, what, 7 years? Have you gone by to say hello? There's a hint of teasing in her voice, responding to the Gila's latent disdain for the kid that's evident in his tone. He stole my fucking dirt bike. He stole your fucking dirt bike. 8 years ago. Well, he was still kind of a shithead when I visited yesterday. Yeah? I see the back of Flynn's scaly head cant curiously. What'd he do? Well, he didn't do anything to me, I guess. Just seemed like he hated my guts. I tried calling him out on his shit, and he wasn't having any of it. I'm not saying that. He call you. Of course. Huh. He smirks into the rearview mirror at me. Glad to see this is all so amusing to you. I'm allowed to think whatever the fuck I want is amusing. Are you going to ask for your dirt bike back? I ask, half joking, half trying to break the tension. I did get it back, remember? Little shit dented the fuck out of it and put his weird punk band stickers all over the body, but I got it. Literally had to go to his house and talk with his parents to get it back. Should have pressed charges. Which house was that again? It was the yellow stucco one at the end of Jasmine, one of the older buildings they constructed during World War II. His and mine were the only houses down there that weren't RVs or mobile homes. I believe it was condemned and demolished a couple years ago, right, Flynn? Flynn nods, turning off onto a dirt road. Oh yeah, the roof was caving in, the electrical was a fucking hazard, and the pipes were lead-based. Lead-based? I thought that was banned before then. Major cities did. Technically, it wasn't in the building code until the 80s. Jenna frowns to herself. Let's just focus on the missing ram, alright? We drive some in silence for a while, until we see some smoke rising up from behind one of the older trailers. The hell's going on? Flynn pulls over. The distinct, smoky smell of burnt mesquite pods wafts through the air. It's actually kind of pleasant. Flynn takes out his cell phone, stepping out of the truck and hustling his way over to the source of the smoke. Jenna and I exchange a quick look before following in his wake. The aroma grows stronger as we round the abandoned trailer and make our way to an outcropping overlooking the rest of the area. There's even a slight apple-like smell mixed in. As we round the bend, I can see a few lawn chairs spread out about a crackling bonfire. Some of the chairs have faded princess print designs, while the others are the more traditional camping variety. Next to them is a fluorescent orange cooler and a portable grill-looking thing that kind of looks like a toaster oven. Don't think they got a permit for this. Oh, hi! The high-pitched voice comes from behind, and next thing we know there's a feline bounding up towards us. Oh god, she does not look good. I see Jenna recoil some, and the fennec lingering a bit behind the rest of us. Flynn, meanwhile, looks stone-faced, his hands in his pockets. Hello? I was here the other day, but we have some more questions about Carl, if that's alright. You were... She stares at me for a long moment. Too long, actually. Flynn audibly sighs. Oh, I know you. You're Leo's boyfriend, right? Ex-boyfriend. Jenna chimes in, but seems to visibly regret it as Heather's attention swivels to her. Oh my god, Jasmine, hi! She wrestles over to Jenna, wrapping her arms around her in a tight hug. You look really good. Thanks. Oh god, look at Jenna's face. Jenna doesn't correct her on the name change for some reason. Instead, she very gingerly pats Heather on the back before withdrawing back a foot. I didn't shower this morning, so it's a wonder if true. Neither did I. Astonishing. Where's Jeremy at? Oh, hi, Flynn. Heather waves at him, despite the Gila being literally only a couple of feet away. Flynn furrows his brow some and limply waves his hand once before stuffing it back in his pocket. Jer? Oh, I made a joke a while ago, and he got really offended and walked off. It was so dumb. Actually, I kind of like Heather. She's kind of ditzy. Where'd he walk off to? I don't know. Oh, let me get you guys a drink. We're having an ahoa party. Before anyone can say anything else, she turns heel and scampers off, her demeanor like an excited child. Once we're alone, I broach the obvious question. What's an ahoa party? Jenna looks over at me and shrugs. Meanwhile, Flynn squints at the land around him, folding his arms over his chest and mumbling to himself. Whose property is this? I thought she lived with her dad, the one that works at the dam? Lizard sucks in his tongue and quickly shakes his head, his question evidently rhetorical. She does seem different, doesn't she? I was expecting the compliments after, well, I wasn't expecting the compliments, well, after how she treated me before. Next thing we know, the feline is returning with 3 beers clutched to her chest. Hurry, 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 take them! They're really cold and getting my shirt wet! I blink and quickly step up to take one, kind of awkwardly sliding it from between her forearm and her cleavage. I'm not particularly hankering for a beer right now, admittedly, but I didn't exactly want to leave her hanging. After a moment of hesitation, Flynn and Jenna also take a beer. You guys can have a seat around the bonfire, too. I glance over at the bonfire. It's pretty small, only about 2 or 3 feet high. Why would anyone want to hang out near a bonfire during a 90-degree springtime heat wave is beyond me. Some of the chairs are kind of small, though, since they're for little girls. They're not for very big boys. She looks up to Flynn, who stands nearly 1.5 feet taller than her. The phrasing is so strange, and her smiling gaze lingers way too long. Oh, she likes Flynn. What? I'm fine standing. Oh, God, he looks so uncomfortable. Flynn shifts uncomfortably. She does know he's gay, right? Yeah, I recognize him. Those are mine. She points to the princess chairs, specifically one with the print of a female cat in a blue dress and tiara surrounded by chirping woodland birds. Or were. Oh, wow! Do you want them back? No. Why not? Jenna stares blankly at her. Look, Heather, when was the last time you saw Carl? Oh, She scratches herself, looking off to the side. I don't know. You should just wait for Jer. He'd have an answer for you. In fact, I'll go look for him for you. Flynn steps up, his brow ridge furrowed. It's a simple goddamn question that I'm asking you, specific-like. When was the last time you saw Carl? Heather reels back as Flynn's tone grows more stern, the cat clutching at her own arms. Oh. I don't know. You know who Carl is. You blew him in high school. What? No, that was Tanya. Carl's gross. As I recall, Heather briefly dated TJ, not Carl. It was a weird coupling, with her being a couple years older, though I guess I have no room to speak there. She was kind of mean to everyone, so it wasn't surprising that she split. Ended up dating one of Leo's friends on the football team, if I remember right. Fucking whatever. Flynn waves off the correction. I remember taking an investigative journalism course freshman year that discussed interviewing techniques used by the police department. It included this big comprehensive list of tales for when someone is lying or obfuscating the truth. The way Heather's acting fits the description of a lot of the aforementioned. Wait, Heather, you're like best friends with Jeremy. Heather still looks like she's about to bolt, but responds regardless. He's cool, but what is that? And he sells pot around here. Jenna looks over at me, seemingly curious about where I'm going with this. Do you need a plug? Because I don't get involved with any of that. I don't know anything. I quickly shake my head. No, like, you're around him when he does that sort of thing. Were you there when he sold to Carl last? She shifts her posture some, the cat scratching behind her ears as her whiskers bristle. She cuts herself off, trying to think of the right words. They don't want me talking about this sort of thing with other people. Especially you guys, since you all hate us. I'm supposed to say that I don't know anything, but I do. I'm not stupid. Her voice is raised now, and she's clenching her fists against her stomach. Yeah, I get that, you know? It's totally cool. You're a fucking brainiac, for sure. Shut up! She screeches at Flynn, the gillo covering his ear holes with a wince. Jesus fucking Christ. Just ignore him, okay? He just wants to find our friend. We're really worried. Her dilated pupils flick back and forth between the two of us. There's another long silence. Like Keith? That name again. It sounds familiar. I look to Flynn and Jenna to see if it's ringing any bells with them. I'm not getting anything from Flynn, but Jenna frowns some. Hopefully not like Keith. That's why we're here now. Heather's shifting gaze meets Jenna's, holding there for a moment before refocusing on to me. I was eating apple smoked jerky with her when Carl texted that he needed some stuff. He did the deal, but nothing special happened, I don't think. So nothing out of the ordinary. Heather thinks in silence for a while. Flynn, meanwhile, bites his cap off his beer and takes a swig. Clint and Mika came by later and kept being really weird and pushy. Well, like Clint was. Mika just stole my jerky, but that's kind of how he usually is. Pushy how? About Carl? I think so. Wait, really? Flynn stops mid-drink, looking on in anticipation following her statement. Yeah, it was like about the money stuff, which I don't pay any attention to. I don't really use money that much anymore. I'm, like, aesthetic.
Okay, but do you remember anything specific?
I think so. I was calling Mika out for the jerky thing, but he just kept ignoring me. Clint kept talking over me, and when I got mad at him, he just started whispering to Mika. It was super rude, so I really remember it well. It's actually been, like, really hard to remember things lately.
Oh. That's about all I can think of to respond with. As I look over, I can see Jenna tapping away at her phone, typing something. She peers up only after a moment, long enough to give me a soft smile and a nod. She must be writing all this down. Flynn, meanwhile, is putting in an active effort to keep his mouth shut. He's waiting on me expectantly to continue. Before I can follow up, Heather starts speaking again, this time to Jenna.
I don't really remember, like, why we didn't get along. Because the name Jasmine pops in my head and it's all, ooh, that bitch. But I just saw you now and it all just seems so silly, doesn't it?
Jenna doesn't even seem to react to Heather at first. She shuts off the screen on her phone and exhales, looking Heather in the eye. She doesn't speak immediately, and there's this sort of latent tension in the air.
Yeah. It is a bit silly now. We're all very much grown-ups here. And I appreciate the hospitality. You know, actually, we've got some spare cooked bluegill in the car.
Spare? Flynn grunts.
Flynn caught and cooked it himself.
Flynn looks slightly less disgruntled after being credited, though it's clear he'd really intended the food to be for us.
Oh, bluegill is good. I really like walleye, though.
I just caught bluegill. Got some bass at home, but didn't bring it. Also, walleye ain't really in season.
That sucks. Cool you caught and cooked it, though. That's really rustic. I usually just get something from the gas station.
You're welcome.
As for the issues with remembering things, I'm not quite licensed to be issuing diagnoses. But I did briefly volunteer at a memory center up in Peyton. I actually think I have a card here still in the bottom of my purse.
Jenna digs through her handbag for a moment before withdrawing a faded little card. Heather takes it, peering it over with some visible trepidation at the clinical text and brain imagery imprinted on it.
If you can get a ride up there on a weekday, they generally can take walk-ins. The clerk there is a super nice horse guy named Jessup. He can help you set up with Medicaid to pay for it if you're not already covered. Horse guy? Oh, that's super neat. Thank you. It'd be really cool if they could, like, let me pick and choose which memories I get to keep, though. Jenna smiles, a flickering sense of melancholy behind her turquoise eyes. It would be nice, wouldn't it? Of course, the challenges and traumas we overcome shape who we are today. Oh, yeah, totally. So double bummer if you're not exactly happy with who you are today, right, Jazz? She lets out a sad-sounding giggle. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Flynn blink some, then peer awkwardly. He spits on the ground, the faint smell of his venom wafting in the breeze for a moment. I'm guessing he bit that cap too hard. Jenna opens her mouth to respond, but she pauses. Her ears flick some and she folds her arms over her chest. Yeah, double bummer. Let me go get that bluegill. I'll be right back. Oh, okay. Jenna heads back towards the truck and we're left standing awkwardly with Heather. Yeah. So, I'm gonna go get the others real quick, so... Bye! Before we can say anything further, she takes off again. In the distance, I can see her start running, her arms flailing with a palsy-like limpness at her sides. I can't help but feel a sort of queasy sensation at the sight. This is what this place does to people. Jenna returns with the Tupperware, letting out a long sigh. She sees Heather in the distance. Props to you for not just smacking the shit out of her. That was, weirdly cordial, considering... Oh, no, part of me wanted to, trust me. That would have made things harder for this whole questioning business, for sure. Well, there was that, and I suppose I was thinking about what you told me when we were walking earlier, Chase. Flynn raises a brow ridge, waiting for her to explain. She does not. I get the feeling you guys have a more intense history than I thought. I tried not to talk about it too much back in the day. Back then, she was rude to me, even when I'd done nothing wrong to her. I figured she was just insecure and left it at that. Then one night, she came to me with no one else to turn to, tears in her eyes. She had some pretty serious problems going on at home and claimed she had no one to turn to. From that point forward, I was ready to defend her, to help in any way I could, short of going to the police, of course, because she begged me not to. It started out as little things, the favors. She was too emotionally distressed to do her homework, so I did it. She couldn't come to class because of a panic attack, and the teacher wouldn't understand, so I lied for her. She needed money to see a friend at Peyton, so I gave her what little money I had. This went on for some time until eventually enough was enough. I had my own problems, especially at home, and I just couldn't juggle the well-being of everyone. That's not my responsibility. I told her up front that I was going through a tough time and couldn't do those favors anymore, but I was always available to talk. It wasn't good enough, of course. Despite being busy with her fractured home life and the stresses of the school, she still found time to create this elaborate revenge on the one person who cared enough to help. Next thing I know, her latest boyfriend of the week and his friends are pounding on my front door at 10 p.m. What does he tell Mom and Dad when they open the door? She deepens her voice, putting on a dude bro accent. Yo, I'm looking for Jasmine. She told us to meet out here to get some. So not only did they convince my idiotic parents that I was fucking 5 guys, including her boyfriend, she told the whole school. Oh, God. Wow, that is heavy stuff. Damn. Oof. Jesus. Wow, well, considering how Heather is now, I wouldn't. I would say that Jenna is the one who ultimately got the revenge. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell until the next video. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!